Have you ever met someone who spoke perfect English, yet their words felt hollow? The grammar was flawless, the accent smooth, the delivery clean, but the voice lacked warmth. That's what haunted Margaret Lewis, a 60-year-old English teacher from Calgary, Canada. For nearly 4 decades, she taught with precision. English to her was order and rules, not feelings. Then one snowy morning, her student Liza, a Filipino nurse, stood to give a presentation. Margaret expected something ordinary, maybe nervous reading, maybe a few mistakes. But Liza's voice had something else: sincerity. She spoke of her grandmother's morning prayers, her simple life in Manila, and how hope was stronger than hunger. Her accent was imperfect, but her message was alive. The room went silent when she finished. Even Margaret, who'd spent her life correcting others, felt tears forming. That night she wrote in her diary, "It wasn't the English that moved me, it was the heart inside the English." She didn't know it yet, but that small moment, a Filipino woman speaking from her soul, would change everything. For the first time, Margaret wondered, maybe English isn't just a language of the mind, maybe it's also a language of the heart. The feeling wouldn't leave her. Margaret kept thinking about Liza's warmth, how her words touched something deep. Out of curiosity, she searched online for Filipino teachers. What she found shocked her. Thousands of Canadians, Americans, and Europeans were taking English lessons from Filipino tutors online, not from Britain or the US, but from Cebu, Davao, and Manila. She watched one class recording. A young Filipino teacher began, "Good morning, everyone. Before we start, what are you grateful for today?" Margaret was stunned. In her classes, lessons started with grammar drills, not gratitude. Yet the students on screen looked happy, confident, alive. Then she saw a comment that stayed in her heart. "My Filipino tutor didn't just teach me English, she taught me kindness." That night, Margaret decided to join a class herself. Using a fake name, Maggie from Calgary, she booked her first session. Her teacher's name was Ate Joy, a cheerful woman from Iloilo. Joy smiled through the screen. "Hi Maggie. Before we begin, tell me, how are you really feeling today?" Margaret froze. No student had ever asked her that before. And in that moment, she realized she wasn't just about to learn English differently. She was about to learn life differently. From the very first class, Joy's energy felt like sunshine. Her laughter was easy, her patience endless. When Margaret made mistakes, Joy never corrected harshly. She encouraged. "It's okay, Maggie," she'd say. "You don't need to sound perfect. You just need to sound true." Margaret began to notice something magical. Joy didn't teach lessons. She built connections. At the end of each class, she'd say, "Remember, English isn't about speaking clearly. It's about speaking kindly." Soon, Margaret looked forward to every session. She'd rush home, open her laptop, and smile as Joy's warm greeting filled her day. When Margaret asked her where she learned to teach this way, Joy said softly, "My mother was a Sunday school teacher. She said every word has power because every word comes from the heart." For the first time in her 40-year career, Margaret began to feel English, not analyze it. She realized Filipinos had taken the world's hardest language and turned it into a bridge of love. And slowly, something inside her started to change. Margaret's curiosity led her online. She searched for Filipino English teachers and found a vibrant digital village. Smiling profiles, heartfelt bios, and video greetings radiated warmth. Tutors shared not just credentials, but stories, hobbies, and a love for helping others. Education here was an invitation, not an imposition. Margaret was skeptical. Could warmth replace rigor? But Liza's transformation was proof. She read stories from students worldwide. Filipino tutors were mentors, confidants, cheerleaders. They created safe spaces to fail, try again, and laugh at mistakes. This wasn't a trend, it was a movement. Margaret knew she had to experience it herself. The teacher was about to become the student. Margaret booked her first lesson with Ate Joy, a former nurse-turned-tutor. The video call began, not with grammar drills, but with a warm, "How is your heart today?" Margaret, caught off guard, opened up about her doubts and curiosity. Ate Joy listened, encouraged, and celebrated every word. They talked about family, food, and flowers. Learning happened naturally, woven into conversation. Margaret laughed, relaxed, and spoke more freely than she had in years. When the hour ended, she felt lighter. She'd learned new words, but more importantly, she'd felt seen and safe. It wasn't about being perfect, but being present. 8 Joy's empathy was a masterclass. Margaret closed her laptop, a tear rolling down her cheek. This wasn't just a teaching method, it was a way of being. The lesson was clear: connection first, correction second. Margaret's heart was changed. She was ready to bring this warmth home. The revolution was personal now. Margaret discovered a Facebook group, English Learners the Filipino Way. Over 100,000 members from around the world shared victories and encouragement. The group was a digital bayanihan, communal unity in action. Posts celebrated everything from ordering coffee to university acceptances. Tutors and students cheered each other on. No judgment, only support. Questions were answered with kindness, not criticism. Cultural stories, recipes, and photos made learning holistic. It wasn't just about language, it was about building a global family. Margaret joined in, cheering for strangers and feeling the joy of community. This was the secret ingredient, an ecosystem of kindness. The Filipino way flourished because it was rooted in genuine connection. Margaret brought the Filipino warmth to her classroom. She started each day with, "How is everyone's heart today?" At first, students were surprised. Then, they opened up. The daily heart check built trust and transformed the classroom dynamic. Margaret celebrated effort, not just results. Encouraging notes replaced red pen corrections. A Wins of the Week board let students share any achievement. Laughter and engagement grew. Even skeptical colleagues noticed. Test scores didn't drop. They improved. Writing became more authentic. Students took creative risks, unafraid of mistakes. Other teachers asked about her methods. Margaret shared her story and led a workshop. Teaching with the heart. Soon, the ripple effect spread across the school. Classrooms felt warmer, more supportive, like family. The quiet revolution had begun. It started with one teacher's willingness to learn. The Filipino way was changing Canadian education, one heart at a time. Margaret saw her students in a new light. And they saw her too. To understand the source of this warmth, Margaret traveled to the Philippines. 8 Joy and her family welcomed her at the airport with hugs and a "Welcome Tita Margaret" sign. Margaret wasn't a guest, she was family. In 8 Joy's hometown, she visited a local school. The classroom was simple, but alive with joy and energy. The teacher knew every student's story, celebrated every small win. Learning was collaborative, joyful, and personal. At dinner, 3 generations gathered, sharing food and laughter. Margaret saw this wasn't a method, but a way of life. Family, respect, community, and connection were lived, not taught. Teaching with heart was simply living with heart. Margaret returned home with a new understanding. The Filipino way was about universal humanity, something she could bring to her own world. The ripples from Margaret's classroom reached national policymakers. Inspired by the movement, Canada launched Project Heartspeak, integrating empathy and connection into teacher training. Margaret became a lead consultant, her story now a catalyst for change. Project Heartspeak didn't replace the curriculum, it enhanced it. Teachers learned to start with personal check-ins and celebrate small wins. Cultural exchanges with Filipino tutors deepened understanding. Results were remarkable: less anxiety, more participation, and greater well-being. Project Heartspeak became a cornerstone of Canadian education. Liza, the student who started it all, graduated to become a teacher herself. Classrooms became communities, families in their own right. Margaret retired with a heart full of gratitude, surrounded by students, colleagues, and Ate Joy. Her greatest legacy, seeing her students truly and deeply. The Filipino way, teaching with love, was now her way too.